Alright, hello, welcome back to General Chemistry Lab videos. In the video today, we are going to be learning how to use volumetric pipettes. Today we have two different types of pipettes that we'll be learning how to use. The first one is a 10 milliliter pipette that dispenses only 10 milliliters and exactly 10 milliliters. And the other one is a graduated pipette that can dispense anywhere between 0 and 10 milliliters. So the first thing, when you're using pipettes, make sure that they are placed on your lab bench in such a way that they will not roll off the bench and break. So I have these set up so that they are behind the beakers and they won't roll off. All right, in order to use pipettes, you will need a pipette bulb. Pipette bulbs look like this, and what you're going to do, we'll start with the graduated pipette. You are going to get your solution, depress the bulb so that the air is squeezed out, place your pipette in your solution, put the bulb on top of your pipette, and then gradually release the air, or release your hand so that air goes into the pipette bulb, and you'll see as this happens, the solution slowly rises up into the pipette. Now, as you can see here, the liquid is not all the way to the top of the pipette, so what we want to do is squeeze the pipette out again, place it back on the pipette. We want to squeeze the pipette bulb out again, place it onto the pipette, and continue pulling solution up into the pipette. And I'm going to have to do this a third time to get all the way up to the 10 mils. All right, so a couple things to notice here. You'll notice that the solution is above the 0 line, which means I have more than 10 milliliters in the pipette right now. The second thing you'll notice is that I did not pull solution all the way up to the very top of the pipette, and I managed to keep the pipette bulb dry. It's very important not to pull solution into your pipette bulb. If you do that, you need to get a new bulb, let your TA know, and make sure the bulb gets dried out. All right, so how do we dispense a solution out of the pipette once we have it in? So you can see my thumb right now is capping the pipette off and holding the solution in. If I remove my thumb from the top of the pipette, the liquid starts to drop and dispense out of the pipette. So in this case, I'm not very concerned with having exactly 10 milliliters. So what I'm going to do is remove my thumb until the solution is a little bit below the 0 line. So if I'm a little bit below the 0 line and I want to know how much solution is in my pipette, I need to read the pipette backwards. So if I look at this, it looks like I have 9.7 mils in my pipette. And I'll turn this around. I'm not sure if you can see this very well, but it should be about 9.7 mils that are in here. Now, for this particular demonstration, I don't really care how much I have in my pipette, so what I'm going to do is remove my thumb from the top and let the solution dispense out into the container that I've chosen to receive it. We'll wait till that's at the bottom. Once that's done, you'll notice that there's a little bit of solution left in the tip of the pipette. This is exactly how the pipette is designed, and if I had started at the 0 mark, this would be 10 milliliters of solution. What you don't want to do is shake your pipette or place your pipette bulb on the top and squeeze the rest out, because then you will have more than 10 milliliters. All right, we're going to set this pipette down so it's somewhere safe, and we're going to use our 10 milliliter volumetric pipette that is set to measure exactly 10 mils. Now, if you can see on this pipette, there is a small line partway past the large portion of the pipette volume. This is the line that shows you exactly 10 milliliters. So in order to use this type of pipette, what you need to do is draw solution into the pipette until the bottom of the meniscus is exactly touching this small brown line. And we are going to try to do that. So again, you squeeze out your pipette bulb, you place your pipette in your solution, place your pipette bulb on your pipette, and slowly release the bulb so the solution begins to draw up into the pipette. Now you can see, again, we're not done. I'm going to cap the pipette off with my thumb, squeeze out the bulb again, continue to draw solution up into the pipette. Not going to have 10 milliliters yet, so I'm going to remove the bulb, cap it off, squeeze the bulb out, continue to pull it up, and since this should be the last time I have to do it, I have to be careful not to pull too much up into the pipette. And I didn't get quite enough, so I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to draw some up so I'm a little bit above the line, but not so far up that I'll end up with solution in my pipette bulb. Now, the tricky part is trying to release your thumb so that you end up with a meniscus exactly at the measurement line. And when I did it the first time, you can see the line is right here and I let too much out. So what I need to do is squeeze the bulb out again, pull up so it's past the line, and try again. I just quickly lift my thumb up and put it back, and again, I released a little bit too much. And as you can see, this takes practice. And it might take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times. So while I'm doing this, I will tell you that before you do this with the solution that you need to measure in lab, you should practice this procedure with water. Right now we're using water with green food coloring so you can see it better, but we are as well practicing with just water. I'm going to try to release my thumb again. And as far as I can see through my goggles, it looks like I'm very close to having the bottom of the meniscus at the ground line. So I'm going to say that that is 10 milliliters. Again, it should be the bottom of the meniscus should be exactly lined up at the ground line. I'm going to take it into the beaker that's going to capture the solution. Let the solution drain out. And again, once the solution has drained out, you should notice that there's a little bit of solution remaining in the tip of the pipette. This is exactly how it should be. So when the solution has drained to that point, you are finished. You set your pipette down. You will clean everything out, return everything to where you got it, and that will conclude our video about volumetric pipettes.